Hey there everyone, this is Joe from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, selling you the best bullion bars and coins shipped to you worldwide from Melbourne, Australia with excellent shipping rates. This is your weekly precious metals technical analysis where we take a look at the big four: gold, silver, platinum and palladium. Of course, hit the big red subscribe button here to join the family. You know what to do. Now 463 subscribers, a nice little jump up from last week. You guys are on the winning team. You know why you should subscribe. You should be subscribed if you're not already. Join the family, join the winning team. You know what to do. So gold. All right, let's take a look. This is again on the monthly time frame. We're looking at the US price as we usually do. Everything's tied to the US price. Spot price of gold. We also take a quick look at the Australian price since we're in Australia as well, but mainly it's based off the US price. This is on the monthly and we're using the tradingview.com website. Let's take a look at the daily, go back to 7 days to see where we were last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. Aha. Cool. Yes. So hovering around this general area right there. I was on the fence last week, as I like to stick on the fence, as you know, as I do, but I did say if we head down, we might head down to these kind of levels. If we head up from here, we might head up to these certain levels, but so far, seen a little dip in the price, haven't we? This high, which was a matching high, look at that. It turns out that's almost like a double top, isn't it, right there? High, and then another thing. Yeah, well, that was a double top on the daily time frame, that is. So we came up to that high of what? 1555 down to 1515, back up to 1557, I guess technically, and down, and then we broke that, so therefore heading down right there. So we have a low so far of 1485. Again, this is in the US dollar. Let's take a look at, on the daily time frame, the relative strength index is at oversold, so that's probably why we're seeing that little uptick in the price right now, a couple of green candles on the daily. Let's pull out to the weekly. Definitely a little bit more room to move down if we're moving down here, but there is, if we're moving down from here, but there is more room to move down, a bit of wiggle room. As you can see, we're still sort of just getting into more neutral territory, but still sort of in overbought territory there on the relative strength index. And if we take a look on the monthly, we're definitely still very much in overbought territory. So maybe the monthly is a good one to look at. Definitely more room to move. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we took a move all the way back down, as I was mentioning before, all the way back down here to about 1450, 1440. I guess technically on that mark we could come back down and test this mark right here at about 1430. That would be a nice healthy retracement. And as mentioned, of course, I've mentioned a billion times, this trend line right here. Yet to see it, but if it hits there, wouldn't be surprised either. But I think right now there is a bit more room to play with moving downwards. Whoa, do I want to be biased? I don't know. Do I want to be biased? I am going to make a call. I'll make a call and say possibly 51% bias to the downside. Now, I could get totally harangued about this later on if it just shoots up from here. I'm going to say 51% chance of further prices down. I think maybe down to about that sort of 1450 level roughly. Between 1430 and 1450 would be my call. If we suddenly do reverse the retracement and head back up, well, then that next level I've been talking about, it's about moving up from where are we, 1680 roughly right here, and then that level here of 1800, but that's moving up from here. Those are the next two targets, 1680 roughly and 1800. But down here, as I said, about between 1430 to 1450 US dollars is my next down target. 51% chance that we're moving down from here. Okay, gold in Australian dollars, just very quickly. I always like to quickly show it. XAU AUD. And as you can see, similar pattern all the way down from the high of 23.20 and currently hovering at about 21.75. And yep, obviously definitely room to move down here in the Australian dollar, but then again, that depends on what that's doing against the US dollar. Let's take a look at silver. This might be a pretty quick one today, actually. I'm getting that feeling. Also, because I'm losing my voice. I had a wonderful conversation today with a couple who were looking to buy for the first time. They were very knowledgeable what they were talking about in terms of where they think the economy's going and all that. We were very much on the same page. But I spent about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, close to, just having a good old chat about their options and just general stuff. And now my voice is getting a bit sore. So we're going to keep it pretty brief. We've gone on silver right here. Let's take a look on the daily. No, that's on the hourly. I thought that looked a little funny. Here we go on the daily. Well, same similar dip as gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're up here. As I said last week, it was looking quite overbought, and it wouldn't have surprised me if we saw a dip from here. We certainly saw the dip again, just like the other time. I wasn't calling for a dip, but it wasn't going to surprise me at all. But we've gone in that direction. Off the high of 1960 roughly, US dollars that is, down to a low so far of, well, what do you know, around about 1780, and I think I called it about 1770. I think last week I said if we're going to head down, one of the targets would be about 1770. I'm pretty sure that's what I mentioned, and well, unless it was 1750, but somewhere between there and that, we've seen pretty close to there. So I think still a bit of room to move down. I'm going to be maybe 50% biased to the downside, 51% biased to the downside. Although if you have to take a look at this, yeah, look, I'll stick with it with gold as well. Same as gold, a 51% chance, very, very slight, chance that we'll see lower prices from here. I'm happy to be wrong, because hopefully a bunch of you bought here and now you're wanting it to go up. Take a look at the monthly, that might help me even more. Yeah, we're in sort of overbought territory at the moment. So I could see it having that little dip down to that area I talked about last week, which is that trend line right here going through this point, and just having a touch of it. And it also coincides with this level here at about $17.50. So I reckon around there was a bit of a focal point, if you can see that trend line and this previous sort of level right here I've marked in about $17.50. We could see a dip down to there before we continue up. Moving down from there, if it goes through this trend line right here, you'll be talking, well, look, the difference between here and here, I'm talking about a 50% retracement roughly, and I'd be looking at around about here at about $16.70. So my call, if we're moving down from here, 51% chance likelihood in my personal opinion, not financial advice, none of it is, but a move of either to 1750 before we head back up, or down to approximately 1670, we'll call it roughly, before we head back up again. I don't think we'll make it all the way back down here to the 1620 level. That's just my personal opinion, not financial advice. And XAU, XAG, no, AUD, XAG, XAG, AUD, that's what I want. XAG, excuse me guys, AUD right here. This is silver in the Australian dollar. That high so far, $29, and we're hovering at about $26.30. Same as gold, depends where the US dollar is going in relation to the Australian dollar. And if I just go back here, because what I didn't talk about was, just in case it does go sky high from here, as previously I've been talking about, the next level, I just think we'll be making a play for that 21 level right there. That's the next level to watch. Don't worry about the little ones in between. I think this one's out of play now, so I'm going to get rid of that. That's out of play now because it's so close to this previous level of 1960. That level, it's just too close before we saw a dip. So we're making a play. If we're heading up from here, we're making a play for 21, without a doubt. Technically, I guess $21.10 roughly. That's where we're heading to next. If we're heading up, I've given you my targets moving down. Let's look at platinum, and a bit of a dip from last week. We've seen that high. Let's go to the daily. We've seen that high of $1,000 was that bit of a psychological value after we broke out of that triangle we've been talking about for a long time. So that quick move, that very fast move up to $1,000, all the way back down to roughly, I talked about kind of this area here, didn't I, about 940. We've come back down to about 930 roughly. If I was a betting man, let's see on the monthly time frame. I could expect a retracement. If we're retracing back down further from here, I would say probably the lowest I would go would be this mark right here at about $880. roughly. What am I going to call for a buy? What's my bias? Do I have a bias on platinum? I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. Look, because the other metals are going in that way, maybe I'll say, no, but they sometimes go in the different direction. Sorry, staying neutral. Sorry, gang. Sorry to be a pain in the ass. I'm staying neutral on platinum for the moment, on whether I think it's going up or down from here. We are getting in slightly overbought territory here on the relative strength index, but I'm going to stay neutral on that. I just don't like to make those big calls. However, I think I'm going to make a call on this one. This is Palladium, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this nice little setup. I think we are due for an imminent breakout. That's my personal opinion. And again, please do not take anything I say as financial advice. I just look at this on the monthly time frame and look at that right there. That just tells me we're coming up soon to a decision point. We've had a top here. I'll show you right here. We had a top of 16.15. We have a failed double top, so we came back out and we failed. We went all the way back down to 1388 and we failed to have a double top where we break this level and head back down, and now we're in this ascending triangle pattern and we're kind of punching on this door. The more times you knock on the door from underneath, the more times you are likely to break through it. So I think we're due for an imminent breakout in Palladium. That's my call. So definitely more than 51% chance of higher prices from here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think I am this time. But within the next, I would say, it's got to be making the decision by it won't happen there. It'll be making the decision by no later than mid-October. I think I may have mentioned that in the last video as well. So by mid-October, we'll know where the price is going to go, and I think it's breaking through. So I'm not even going to mention a down price here in Palladium. I'm just going to show you again, mentioned it a number of times, but we're heading up to the next all-time high of $2,000. That's going to be the psychological value. Might pierce a little bit above it, sure, but it's going to be hovering around that $2,000 level as a psychological value. Why? Let me just click back and then click back. Because it's never visited that price ever before. And so when you haven't visited a price, a big round number like 2,000 is going to be a psychological value, in my opinion, not financial advice. And the Fibonacci we've talked about, moving up from there. If it just goes gangbusters and goes crazy hog wild and goes straight through 2,000, then your next level is at the 2.618, calculated from this high of 1,100 and this low of 143, and that's calculated at 2,655 roughly. So if we break through 2,000, just smash right through it and just continue up, that's where we're heading to, in my opinion. And that's Palladium. I'm not going to call the down prices because I don't know if we're heading there anymore. That just looks pretty good for a setup for higher prices from here. So join the family, join the winning team. You know what to do. If you're not subscribed yet, I don't understand why. Because we have our epic unboxings, our weekly auctions, which you can pick up a real bargain. Can I tell you right now, I think we've had one bidder right now on the Chinese panda starting off at spot price. You want to get a panda for spot price? This is the only place you can get it, right here at Bullion Now auction. So I think it's technically, there's one bid for it now. But place a bid, $1 above, the other person might not put another bid in, so you could get it close to spot price. And if spot price rises, well, you might even get it under spot. And our educational videos as well, all that stuff, our interview series, all the good stuff, for the reasons, our epic unboxings, as I mentioned before. Now I'm rambling because I'm losing my voice. So thanks, guys, for watching. Of course, like, share, subscribe, stay safe, and we'll speak to you soon.